Hey guys, I'm trying out a new sort of style of video. If you don't like it, give me a shout. This way you don't see my ugly mug, so, you know, can't be too much of a loss. So this is a care sheet for Creobroter gemmatus. Probably hear my chicken in the background. I've been trying to film this all morning. He's been going crazy. So I'm afraid we're going to have to just deal with him. Anyway, Creobroter gemmatus, jeweled flower mantis, Indian flower mantis, background chicken. I don't know if you can actually hear it. Here's one of my adult females. She's just grabbing a cricket now. I had her out so you could get a close-up view. They're a really stunning mantis. One of my favourites, if not my favourite. They are widely spread in Asia, sexually dimorphic. I mean, all praying mantises are sexually dimorphic, but these are one of the ones where there's quite a large difference. You can, you know, at a glimpse tell a male from a female when they get to their full size. I guess a bit like orchids, not quite as absurdly different as orchids. So male has got 8 segments. He's a lot smaller, about 1.5 inches in length, skinny, small wings. Obviously they go a little bit longer than his tail. Female's about 1.6, 1.7 inches, 6 segments, a lot chunkier back. This is a female. Unfortunately I don't have a male to show you. It's a medium sized. There are larger, obviously Devil's Flower is pretty huge. Chiang Mai is a little bit smaller but looks near on the same. When they're young they look a little bit like ants. It's a defense mechanism. I know a couple of people bought some at the tarantula show recently, and I think they were actually probably some of mine because I sold a few to a couple of guys that were selling stuff down there. So, you know, thanks for getting those guys. They probably came possibly from this mantis here. It's an active hunter, which is a great thing for if you want a pet praying mantis that's going to move around rather than stick to where they are. Obviously coming from Asia, from a subtropical environment / tropical environment, I guess. And yeah, I mean, it's just a great mantis to have. So I'll give you a little bit of information about actually keeping them. So they are an easy mantis to keep, and they're forgiving in terms of, you know, you can go a little bit wrong. It's not just going to die on you straight away. There's a few which you really can't let any issues happen to. Devil's Flowers are particularly bad for just dropping down for almost no reason, or no reason that you can work out, but it can be just that they haven't fed in enough time, or the food they're eating isn't right, or the humidity isn't right, or the heat isn't right. These guys tend to be pretty good with, you know, having the odd off day. So they are from a tropical environment, so you want them a little bit warmer. 23 to 30 degrees is ideal. About 25 degrees. That being said, I wouldn't worry about using a thermometer or anything, or checking the heat too much. A warm room is good. They can have a little bit of a drop at night down to about 17 degrees. But in terms of heat, generally a warm room is good. They don't need any extra heating. You can give them top light heating. I personally don't. They're small, so they don't need a huge amount of space. I know that some websites say 3 times the length, and I think it's about 6 times the height, but I'd definitely go more than that. You want your mantis to have a bit of space. Humidity is more than your average praying mantis, and so you're looking at 60 to 70%. They are from the jungle or from subtropical areas, evergreen forests, so you really want 60 or 70%. But again, I wouldn't try and measure your humidity. You can if you're really worried, but in general, as long as they get a spray once a day, some people do a couple of times a day. I tend to do once a day. They're pretty good, and they're a pretty hardy mantis. They tend to deal with a lot more than some of the other mantises. The females particularly are strong little girls. So if you have a look at her, she's got great big chunky arms, and they can take down prey which is large in comparison to their size, which is another reason they're easy to look after, because you can use pretty much what you want to feed them. I know a couple of people had issues with devil's flowers, and one of the main things for them is that if you look at their arms, they're long and thin, and the point of that is range and accuracy. What they'll do is they'll sit on a flower and they'll wait for a flying insect, a fly or something to fly over, and they'll grab it out of the sky, and that's great, gives them the ability to get flying insects, but they don't have the strength to deal with some of the crickets and dubias, and what you don't realise is that when you are feeding them, they seem to eat fine, but it takes the energy out of them and they're losing as much energy as they're gaining from the food. So if you are going to keep them, try and stick to flying food, flies, things from, I just go and buy maggots from fishing shops. Half a pint of whites is normally about £1.50 tops. Anyway, back to Creobroter gemmatus. But yeah, these guys can take pretty much anything. If you're watching the video, there's a large cricket she's eating. No problem to take it. Absolutely no problem. Handling wise, females are great to handle, males are a little bit skittish, but I mean with a lot of the smaller mantises, the males are very skittish. She looks stunning, so you know, have a little cheeky look. Yeah, I guess that's pretty much it. They're a simple one to keep. Just make sure they've got the humidity and heat. Keep them fed every couple of days. I do mine every 3 days, but you can do it every 2 days. Just have fun with them, really. Like I say, they're a good one to handle. It's a great, well, I say a great starter mantis. It's a good mantis for maybe second or third if you've gone from maybe a Horolula species or giant Asian or anything like that. It's a great mantis to have. As a substrate, I'd recommend using a combination of cocoa fibre and moss. So what I do is I use cocoa fibre on the bottom, I use a layer of moss on the top of that, and when I spray them, I spray the enclosure a little bit so that they get a bit of moisture to drink, and I also spray the substrate, and that keeps the moisture in there throughout the day. And the moss on top of the substrate holds it in so it doesn't just all dry out straight away. That can be an issue sometimes with a couple of the other mantises I've had. Like before I've tried moss, they've just ended up drying out a little bit. The other thing with these guys is they need a lot of ventilation. With any mantises where they're going to have a lot of moisture, you want to give them a lot of ventilation. This is simply because if you don't give them the ventilation they need, there's going to be rot, there's going to be fungus growing in the bottom. That's not good for the mantis. Aside from that, you know, just take a panel out, put some creature net or any kind of net you can put on there to give good airflow, put a few holes in the lid, you're pretty much set. There you go, guys. I hope that was informative. To be honest, it seemed a little bit vague, I guess. I don't really know what else to say about them. They're not a hard one to keep. But if there's any others you'd like me to do, and if you'd like me to do them in this style, give me a shout. Thanks for watching. Yeah, I'll see you next time, I guess. Toodaloo.